Imagine it, $1 billion, 10 figures sitting in your bank account, the power to buy almost anything, go anywhere, influence practically everything, and suddenly it's all gone. One minute you're a billionaire with the world at your feet, the next you're watching your empire crumble and ultimately face the harsh reality of bankruptcy. Forget the rags to riches stories for just a moment. Today, we're exploring the far less common but equally captivating tales of riches to rags. We've scoured the financial archives and dug through the headlines to bring you a countdown of 7 billionaires who lost it all and went bankrupt. Prepare to be shocked, maybe even a little bit vindicated, as we uncover the stories behind these monumental financial downfalls. From reckless spending and ill-fated investments to global economic crises and personal scandals, we'll explore the key factors that led to these once untouchable titans facing the stark reality of zero. So, buckle up, grab your popcorn, and get ready for a roller coaster ride through the fortunes and misfortunes of these former billionaires. Let's get started. First up, it's the Saudi Arabian businessman, Adnan Kashogi. This Saudi Arabian businessman wasn't just rich, he was a symbol of opulent wealth and international influence. Adnan Kashogi was born in Mecca to a royal physician. His entree into the world of big money came through his incredible talent as an arms dealer. Leveraging his connections and charm, Khashoggi became a key middleman in massive arms deals between Western companies and Saudi Arabia during the Cold War. He facilitated transactions worth billions, earning substantial commissions that propelled him into the stratosphere of wealth. At his peak in the mid-1980s, Adnan Khashoggi's net worth was estimated to be around $4 billion. To put that into perspective, that's over $10 billion in today's money. His lifestyle was legendary. He owned multiple sprawling estates across the globe, including the iconic $25 million Nabila superyacht, later owned by Donald Trump and renamed the Kingdom 5KR. His parties were legendary, filled with celebrities, politicians, and royalty. He was the embodiment of the go-go 80s and conspicuous consumption. How did this titan of industry lose it all? The end of the Cold War significantly reduced the demand for large-scale arms deals, drying up his primary source of income. He also made a series of risky and ultimately unsuccessful investments in various ventures, including oil and real estate. Furthermore, Khashoggi became embroiled in several legal battles and scandals, most notably his involvement in the Iran-Contra affair, which tarnished his reputation and drained his finances through legal fees. By the late 1990s, Adnan Kashogi was declared bankrupt in the United States. The once unthinkable had happened. The man who epitomized extreme wealth had lost his entire fortune. Next up, we're heading across to India to a man who became a prominent figure known for his flamboyant lifestyle and the nickname King of Good Times. Vijay Mallya is an Indian businessman, former member of parliament, and the former chairman of United Breweries Group, a conglomerate with interests in alcoholic beverages, aviation, and other sectors. Vijay inherited a substantial business empire from his father, Vital Mallya. He took over as chairman of United Breweries Group in 1983 at a young age and significantly expanded the liquor business, particularly the Kingfisher beer brand, making it into a dominant player in India and recognized internationally. He diversified the group's interests into various sectors over the years, including acquisitions in paints, pharmaceuticals, and media. Vijay's net worth peaked in 2013 when Forbes estimated it to be around $1 billion. How did he lose it all? The primary cause of Mallya's financial downfall was his ambitious venture into the aviation industry with Kingfisher Airlines, launched in 2005. Despite initial success and capturing a significant share of the Indian domestic market, Kingfisher Airlines never turned a profit. The business model struggled with high operating costs, intense competition, and rising fuel prices. To keep the airline afloat, Mallya took out massive loans from various Indian banks, personally guaranteeing some of them. These loans, they eventually amassed to over $1.2 billion at the time. The global financial crisis of 2008 that further exasperated the airline's financial woes, and by 2012, Kingfisher Airlines had collapsed, leading to huge defaults on the loans. Mallya faced intense scrutiny and legal pressure from the banks and the Indian government to repay the debts. Third on the list, and it's an Irish billionaire who once served a 9-week jail sentence for contempt of court in 2012 for allegedly trying to put assets beyond the reach of the bank. In 2008, Shaun Quinn was Ireland's richest man with a net worth of over $6 billion. By 2011, he was declared bankrupt. So, who is Shaun Quinn? He's an Irish businessman who built a sprawling empire from humble beginnings. Starting in 1973, with a mere £100 loan to extract gravel from his family farm, Quinn built the Quinn Group, a diverse conglomerate encompassing cement, glass, insurance through Quinn Direct, hotels, and real estate. His success was deeply rooted in his local community, providing significant employment across Ireland. At his peak, around 2008, Shaun Quinn's personal net worth was estimated to be a staggering $6 billion. He was listed in Forbes as one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, a symbol of Ireland's booming Celtic tiger economy. While not known for extreme flashy displays like some other billionaires, his wealth was evident in the vastness and influence of his business empire. The dramatic undoing of Shaun Quinn's fortune is largely attributed to one fateful decision: a massive and ultimately catastrophic investment in Anglo-Irish Bank through complex financial instruments called contracts for difference, CFDs. As the Irish banking system teetered and eventually collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis, the value of these investments plummeted. Quinn had taken out significant loans to finance these positions, and the spiraling losses led to an unmanageable debt burden, estimated at around €2.8 billion. Despite attempts to restructure and salvage his business, the weight of this debt proved too much. Quinn was declared bankrupt in Northern Ireland in November 2011. Fourth on this list, and it's another billionaire who lost his fortune in the 2008 financial crisis. Björgólfur Gunnarsson was a symbol of Iceland's soaring financial ambitions, and at his peak, worth over $1 billion. So, who is Björgólfur Gunnarsson? Born into a prominent Icelandic family, he initially made his mark in various business ventures, including shipping. However, his major rise to prominence came in the early 2000s, when he, along with his son, Björgólfur, acquired a significant stake in Landsbanki, one of Ireland's major banks. During its privatization, he became the bank's chairman and a highly influential figure in the Icelandic business landscape. He also famously owned the English football club, West Ham United. At his peak around 2008, Björgólfur's net worth was estimated to be around $1.1 billion. The catastrophic downfall of Björgólfur Gunnarsson was inextricably linked to the 2008 Icelandic financial crisis. As the global credit crunch hit, Icelandic banks, including Landsbanki, which had expanded aggressively with foreign banks, found themselves unable to meet their obligations. The entire Icelandic banking system collapsed, and in October 2008, Landsbanki was nationalized by the Icelandic government. As the chairman and a major shareholder of Landsbanki, Björgólfur Gunnarsson's personal fortune evaporated almost overnight. His assets were frozen, and in July 2009, he was declared bankrupt, with debts reported to be around £500 million, approximately $800 million at the time. He was forced to relinquish control of West Ham United as a result of his financial collapse. Next up, and we're headed over to Brazil with Ike Batista. This Brazilian-German entrepreneur made his initial fortune in the gold and diamond mining industries in the 1980s and 90s. He was known for his aggressive deal-making and a knack for turning around struggle ventures. However, his major ascent to billionaire status came in the 2000s with the founding of the EBX Group, a conglomerate of companies. His strategy? It was built on Brazil's vast natural resources and the promise of future growth. At his peak in 2012, Ike Batista's net worth reached an astonishing $35 billion, making him the 7th richest person in the world and the wealthiest individual in Latin America. He was a larger-than-life figure, known for his confidence, extravagant lifestyle, and ambitious pronouncements, including his goal of becoming the world's richest man. His X-branded companies were seen as the future of Brazilian industry. The implosion of Ike Batista's empire was swift and brutal, primarily triggered by the failure of his flagship oil company, OGX. Despite promising massive offshore oil discoveries, OGX consistently undelivered on production targets. This shattered investor confidence and led to a collapse in the company's stock price. Burdened by massive debt taken on to finance these ambitious projects, OGX eventually filed for bankruptcy protection in 2013, the largest corporate default in Latin American history at the time. The downfall of OGX had a domino effect on the rest of the EBX group, as many of his companies were interconnected and relied on each other's success. As commodity prices also weakened, the value of his mining and other ventures plummeted. By 2014, his net worth had dwindled to less than $200 million, a staggering loss of over $34 billion in just a couple of years, considered one of the fastest and largest wealth destructions in history. Sixth on the list, and it's Alan Stanford, a flamboyant Texan who charmed his way to billionaire status before his empire crumbled in one of history's largest Ponzi schemes. Born in Texas, Stanford built a financial empire known as the Stanford Financial Group, headquartered in Houston, but with significant operations in the Caribbean, particularly Antigua. He cultivated an image of a successful international banker and even received a knighthood in Antigua, which was later revoked. He became a prominent figure through his sponsorship of various sports, most notably cricket, creating the high-profile Stanford 2020 tournaments. How did he make his money? Stanford's wealth was primarily generated through Stanford International Bank, SIB, based in Antigua. SIB offered certificates of deposit, CDs, with unusually high interest rates, promising investors safe and lucrative returns. This attracted approximately 30,000 investors from over 100 countries. However, as investigations later revealed, these high returns were not generated through legitimate investments, but rather through a classic Ponzi scheme, using new investor funds to pay off earlier investors. How rich was he at his peak? Alan Stanford's net worth was estimated to be around $2.2 billion at its peak. He lived a lavish lifestyle, owning multiple luxury properties, private jets, and yachts. His extravagant spending was part of the facade that helped to build trust and attract more investors to his seemingly successful financial institution. The House of Cards began to collapse in 2009 when the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, filed charges against Stanford, accusing him of orchestrating a massive $7 billion Ponzi scheme. Federal authorities froze his assets and placed his companies into receivership. Investigations revealed that Stanford had misappropriated billions of dollars to fund his personal businesses and extravagant lifestyle. In 2012, Alan Stanford was convicted on multiple counts of fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. He was sentenced to 110 years in prison, effectively a life sentence. Seventh on the list, and we're heading over to China, with a man who was the richest man in Asia, and at one point, the top 10 richest worldwide before losing it all. Xiaoyan, the once untouchable chairman of the Evergrande Group, a real estate behemoth that has become synonymous with China's property crisis. Xiaoyan rose from humble beginnings in rural China to become one of the most powerful figures in the country's booming property sector. He founded Evergrande Group in 1996 and through aggressive borrowing and rapid expansion, transformed it into China's largest property developer by sales volume in 2016. Evergrande's business model involved taking on significant debt to finance numerous large-scale residential projects across the country. This high-risk leverage strategy fueled rapid growth and propelled Hui into the billionaire ranks. Xiaoyan's wealth peaked around 2017, when his net worth reached an estimated $45.3 billion. He was the richest person in Asia at the time, a symbol of China's economic ascent. His influence spanned businesses and even touched the political sphere. The dramatic reversal of Xiaoyan's fortune is directly linked to the Evergrande Group colossal debt, which ballooned to over $300 billion. Beijing's tightening regulations on excessive borrowing by property developers starting in 2020 exposed Evergrande's precarious financial situation. The company struggled to refinance its debt, leading to defaults on its bonds in 2021. As Evergrande teetered on the brink of collapse, Xiaoyan's personal wealth plummeted. He was forced to sell off personal assets, including luxury properties, to try and prop up the company. By late 2023, his net worth had dwindled to below $1 billion, losing his billionaire status. In September 2023, he was placed under police control and investigated for suspected illegal activities. So, there you have it, 7 stark reminders that the climb to the top of the financial mountain is often less secure than it appears. The stories of Adnan Kashogi, Vijay Mallya, Shaun Quinn, Bjorgafur Gormanson, Ike Batista, Alan Stanford, and Xiaoyan, while unique in their specifics, share a common thread: the fragility of fortune. Whether it was through reckless spending, ill-fated ventures, global economic meltdowns, or outright fraud, these individuals, who once commanded unimaginable wealth and influence, saw their empires crumble. Their experiences, they serve as powerful, if sobering, lessons for us all. They highlight the importance of prudent financial management, the dangers of unchecked ambition, and the fact that even the most seemingly invincible positions are susceptible to unforeseen circumstances and the consequences of poor decisions. What did you find the most surprising or insightful about these stories? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of finance and beyond. Thanks for watching.